At Numerian Capital, we bring you the latest stock news each day. Please like and subscribe so we can bring these articles to you each day. Thank you.
Today, October 7, 2022, does Photronics deserve a spot on your watch list? Investors are often guided by the idea of discovering the next big thing, even if that means buying story stocks without any revenue, let alone profit. Unfortunately, these high-risk investments often have little probability of ever paying off, and many investors pay a price to learn their lesson. A loss-making company is yet to prove itself with profit, and eventually the inflow of external capital may dry up. Despite being in the age of tech stock blue sky investing, many investors still adopt a more traditional strategy, buying shares in profitable companies like Photronics, Nasdaq PLAB. While profit isn't the sole metric that should be considered when investing, it's worth recognizing businesses that can consistently produce it. Photronics earnings per share are growing. If you believe that markets are even vaguely efficient, then over the long term you'd expect a company's share price to follow its earnings per share outcomes. That means EPS growth is considered a real positive by most successful long-term investors. To the delight of shareholders, Photronics has achieved impressive annual EPS growth of 50%, compound, over the last 3 years. Growth that fast may well be fleeting, but it should be more than enough to pique the interest of the wary stock pickers. Top-line growth is a great indicator that growth is sustainable, and combined with a high earnings before interest and taxation margin, it's a great way for a company to maintain a competitive advantage in the market. The music to the ears of Photronics shareholders is that earnings before interest and taxation margins have grown from 11% to 23% in the last 12 months and revenues are on an upwards trend as well. Ticking those two boxes is a good sign of growth, in our book. The trick, as an investor, is to find companies that are going to perform well in the future, not just in the past. While crystal balls don't exist, you can check our visualization of consensus analyst forecasts for Photronics future EPS 100% free. Are Photronics insiders aligned with all shareholders? It should give investors a sense of security owning shares in a company if insiders also own shares, creating a close alignment their interests. So it is good to see that Photronics insiders have a significant amount of capital invested in the stock. To be specific, they have $30 million worth of shares. This considerable investment should help drive long-term value in the business. While their ownership only accounts for 3.1%, this is still a considerable amount at stake to encourage the business to maintain a strategy that will deliver value to shareholders. While it's always good to see some strong conviction in the company from insiders through heavy investment, it's also important for shareholders to ask if management compensation policies are reasonable. A brief analysis of the CEO compensation suggests they are. For companies with market capitalizations between $400 million and $1.6 billion, like Photronics, the median CEO pay is around $4.0 million. The CEO of Photronics only received $1.3 million in total compensation for the year ending October 2021. That looks like a modest pay packet, and may hint at a certain respect for the interests of shareholders. CEO remuneration levels are not the most important metric for investors, but when the pay is modest, that does support enhanced alignment between the CEO and the ordinary shareholders. It can also be a sign of good governance, more generally. Is Photronics worth keeping an eye on? Photronics earnings per share have been soaring, with growth rates sky high. An added bonus for those interested is that management hold a heap of stock and the CEO pay is quite reasonable, illustrating good cash management. The strong EPS improvement suggests the business is humming along. Photronics certainly ticks a few boxes, so we think it's probably well worth further consideration. While we've looked at the quality of the earnings, we haven't yet done any work to value the stock. So if you like to buy cheap, you may want to check if Photronics is trading on a high price to earn or a low price to earn, relative to its industry.
Thanks for watching Numerian Capital News. Please come back tomorrow for another stock news update. Thank you.